Hello and welcome to the BTDY Racing Series live tonight from Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway for race number 2 of the season. And we are looking forward to a very exciting night of racing here from this fantastic league. And so glad to be back here with these guys and see so many familiar faces. We've got a 150 lap race tonight, 75 miles, and this is race 2. So just getting the season started after a fantastic race last week at Daytona, where AJ Stravato took the win sideways and backwards across the line. We'll see if we have quite as exciting a finish here this evening. And up here in the booth tonight, it's myself, Adam Baker, and also Logan Threlkeld joining me up here. And Logan, looking like a fun night of racing from the Nashville Fairgrounds tonight. How are you feeling about tonight's race, seeing all these guys out here practicing?
I'm very excited, Adam. It's turning out to be quite action-packed already just in practice, so I am looking forward to seeing what these guys can transfer over into the race.
Yeah, it's been pretty wild out here and a very difficult racetrack, and looking forward to seeing how these guys can navigate the bumps and the cuts in the track and make their way up through the field. And we'll take a look at some track information here tonight. This track, the Nashville Fairgrounds, opened January 1st, 1904. I'm sure they were probably doing some more horse racing at that point than they were automobile racing, but it is here in Nashville, Tennessee, a half-mile racetrack, 18-degree turns, 5-degree front straightaway, and it is a normal kind of 4 standard oval shape. And there's a lot of very interesting texture changes and surface changes around this racetrack. The corners, as kind of regular as they appear on the map there, you can see they are definitely not quite as straightforward as they appear, and that is going to make things very challenging as drivers are going to have to navigate their way around throughout this race. And 150 laps may not seem like a lot, but it will feel like a lot to some of these drivers as they feel the tires wear out throughout the event. We'll go to the racetrack now and see where drivers are getting prepared for the qualifying session and see how they are lining up here for tonight's event. We do want to welcome you to VSPEED. Make sure to like, share, subscribe if you're enjoying the broadcast tonight, and we do appreciate it. Nearly at 1,000 subscribers, and this is our 500th video on the channel, so we appreciate you all tuning in and supporting throughout the years, and hopefully we make tonight a good one for you to enjoy as we race it up here at the Nashville Fairgrounds. And it is going to tick over to the qualifying session, and we'll see these drivers go out there and attempt to put down some fast laps with only 5 minutes of qualifying on the clock. See who goes out there first. Looks like Bailey Turner going to give it a shot here, and he's going to roll off in his 24 Celsius machine. And I know you're a little bit newer to this racetrack, Logan, but you said you noticed a few things while you were out there kind of testing out the car.
Yeah, Adam, I always like to get out on the racetrack myself and just see what these drivers are up against. I noticed this track is most certainly not the smoothest one in this series race. Through 1 and 2, quite wavy. Gets a little worse coming out of 2. They're going to have to be real careful on the gas getting out of that corner. 3 and 4, the low line, also equally as wavy. It's not an easy track by any means.
See Bailey Turner, he's just hopping through those bumps, going out of turn number 2, down into turn 3. On the brakes through there, but waiting to get back to the throttle. Not an easy track. He even had to lift right there across the stripe. And Bailey going to put down a nice lap time, 18.775. Brody Hayes currently the quickest. He was also the fastest in practice. And we'll see if he's able to hold that spot. Jeff Wright, who we're used to seeing up towards the front, that 48 machine, has had a good couple of seasons here in the Below the Double Yellow Racing League. And he is currently 3rd quickest. AJ Stravato, last week's winner, looks like he'll be 7th. And then there's a few VSPEED machines up there in the top 10 as well. Nick Starling with a good qualifying time already. He is going to be in the 9th spot. Jeremiah Vincent jumps into 10th. Take a look at the weather conditions here tonight. It is 76-degree air temp, 77-degree track temp, and it should cool down as the night progresses. So That will contribute to some better handling at points during this race, but also tire temperatures could drop, which could lead to other handling concerns. Just 2.5 minutes left to go in qualifying. It looks like Brody Hayes' time probably will stand, as most of the drivers have taken a lap at this point. We'll go to a quick commercial break to hear from our sponsors of this league, and we will be right back.
Sailor Tarot Magic is the spot to get a reading from Sally, an intuitive healer and tarot reader. Known as the Nurturing Reader at New Jersey street fairs, you can also check out our YouTube channel for lunar and astro readings, as well as our Instagram for live weekly readings. Her rates are affordable, and you will leave with a newfound perspective. Sally is now offering an introductory class on tarot cards and intuition, and is available for parties. Call or text 732-314-0777 to schedule your reading today.
Back at the racetrack now, about to get things going here from the Nashville Fairgrounds, and qualifying is complete. Brody Hayes is going to be your pole sitter here this evening. Take a look at your starting lineup here from the Nashville Fairgrounds for race 2 of the Below the Double Yellow Racing League. Brody Hayes, your fastest qualifier with an 18.629, is going to take the top spot on the charts, and he will be joined by Bailey Turner on the front row, the number 24 machine. He'll start from the second spot. Rolling off from third tonight, it'll be Jeff Wright. Marcus Emerson going to start from row number 2 as well in that 4th position. Starting in 5th here tonight, it'll be Joshua Banks, kind of a short track ace, so watch for that 35. Chris Samard as well, kind of a short track ace, going to roll off from 6th. Keith Mayato going to start in the 7th position. Angelo Ronas starting in the 8th spot. 9th will be Seth Hatchell, and AJ Stravato going to round out the top 10.
Following up the top 10, we've got Alan Dyson, the 5 machine, sitting in 11th, next to Dennis Faircloth. 13th, James Loveland, next to Jeremiah Vincent. Brandon Vasquez and Nick Starling. Caleb Weekly and Mark Beverly next to each other there. Justin Carey and Eric Hutton, bringing up that last row in the top 20.
21st will be Noah Mikulski. 22nd, Cody Adkins. 23rd is Nick Gardner. 24th, Kyle McGarvey. 25th, Charles Jackson. Dallas Sullivan going to roll off from the 26th position. 27th tonight will be Timmy Emanuele. 28th is Lane Sulfridge. 29th is Nathaniel Ostrowski. And rounding out the top 30, it'll be Dennis Steele. 31st is Nicholas Lawrence. 32nd, Wesley Dunphy. 33rd, Michael Newman. 34th, Max Cost. 35th is Alex Pelican. 36th tonight will be Gavin Baird. 37th, Jordan Brockel. And rounding out the field tonight, Robert Gilmore in 38th. So 38 drivers here this evening from the Nashville Fairgrounds. That is a lot of cars on a half-mile racetrack. Now, I don't know what to expect entirely, but I know we're going to have some bent sheet metal at the end of tonight's race.
38 cars on this half-mile track is really going to make this feel a lot longer than a half-mile.
And I think it's going to make it feel like it's a lot longer than a 150-lap race at certain points. But let's hope these guys keep their mind their manners here, at least for the first little bit of the race, kind of get in a groove, and we'll see what kind of green flag action we can get. But we are here tonight, race number 2, below the WL Racing League, Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, and it is Brody Hayes and Bailey Turner going to lead us to the green flag. Here we go, green in the air, off and away from Nashville Fairgrounds. Field doing a good job. The leaders fighting for that top spot. Down into turn 3, Brody Hayes washes up the track just a little bit. It is dead even coming back to the stripe though. I think Brody got it by just a little bit, but we are still green here amongst the field. We've got a few cars with some connection problems further back, but conditions changing hands pretty quickly here. Nobody has gone around. They're still cleanly green for the first couple laps.
That's a great look to start this race.
Yeah, you can see all kinds of different lines being run. Brody Hayes kind of sticking in that lower lane. Joshua Banks working the higher groove, racing with Jeff Wright. A little bit tricky out of turn 2 to stay out of that barrier when you're up in the high groove. Look at Jeff Wright though, wheeling it there. Going to lose the position, and caution is going to fly. Taking a look at what happened here. I think it's at the back of the pack. Oh, big pile up in turn 3. Let's take a look at into the 42 of McGarvey, and that is kind of what led to everything happening there. And the 9 piles in as well, and it started off so good. Downhill quickly. It's such a small racetrack. Not a lot of places to hide.
I have a feeling we're going to finish with a lot less than 38 cars today, Adam.
You know, I think your feeling may be correct. I'm hoping that we do finish with at least 30. I think that would be quite the accomplishment here. But in many ways, this track a little bit self-cleaning, and you will run out of room if a crash happens. It's not very wide, and you can only fit really about 2.5, maybe 3 cars side by side in here. And if you get any more, if you get a car turned sideways on the track, it's going to be a problem.
Not a lot of room to move around a car that's sideways on the track. You know, it's taking up half the track width there.
We have a few cars on pit lane right now. Looks like the 26 of Charles Jackson, who got kind of punted there, or did the punting, I believe, of the 42 of McGarvey. He came down pit lane. I do believe they have a fault system here in the league, so you can get an EOL penalty if you're the cause of a caution, and if you cause too many, they will park you for the night. So that's important to note, that if drivers who have caused cautions throughout the night continue to cause problems, they will be parked. And you drivers on pit lane: Dallas Sullivan, Lane Sulfridge, Nathaniel Ostrowski, a lot of guys who would not want to be in this position so early on, but at least they'll have some time to recover if their cars are capable of doing so. But you know, I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of guys in this league that have been here a long time. They know how to race around each other, and it's good to see so many of these names that we haven't seen for a couple of seasons come back. Brandon Vasquez is here. Justin Carey is back. Handful of other guys joining us again for this season number 3 of the racing series. But a lot of new names out there as well, some rookies. That's always going to make things interesting. As we are about to go green again, it is Brody Hayes and Bailey Turner going to lead us down to the green flag. Off and away, Brody Hayes, nice jump there, able to clear the 24. And now Joshua Banks moving his way forward, up a few positions already. Challenge for that runner-up spot. We got side-by-side battling all throughout this field. See if these guys get settled out. I saw 3 wide a little bit further back. I think just behind Eric Hutton. We saw that as he races it up with Cody Atkins here, about in first position.
Adam, I don't know about you, but I feel like whenever...
Sorry, we got a car around at the back of the field. That is Wesley Dunphy. I'm sorry to interrupt you there. I saw him go around right as we were... right as he started talking. This is the case. 55 car just losing the handle down in the corner and head on. Huge hit for the 56. I'm sorry to interrupt you there, Logan. What were you about to say?
No worries, Adam. Gotta go where the action's at. I was just saying, I feel like whenever I'm racing here at Nashville, like I said, just the couple laps that I turned, you don't race Nashville. Nashville races you. You don't necessarily get to pick the line that you want to go to.
Yeah, you're definitely right. If you miss the corner a little bit, it can shoot you up the track. You're kind of bouncing around through those first couple of corners, and yeah, it can be a real challenge to get around this place and hold a line and try and defend against someone who, you know, has their line picked out as well. And especially racing side by side, it can be very difficult, and you can lose a lot of time doing that. As looks like the leaders might be bringing it down pit road here. Brody Hayes, your race leader. He elects to do not many laps on the tires at this point. He's going to stay out. We'll take a look through the field. Anybody is going to bring it in. A couple cars rolling off of pit lane.
That would be a very early call for tires in this long race, but it's all about strategy on these short tracks.
Yeah, and I don't know if you want to be caught up at the back of the field at this point in time, so yeah, I think it's probably best to stay out as long as you possibly can, as long as it makes sense, and you're not losing too much time to the race leaders. But we haven't had long enough of a green flag run to really affect those tires. So no real reason for any of the leaders to bring it in at least. But maybe somebody in the back who wants to gain a couple spots, you know, with slightly fresher tires could perhaps elect to do something like that. But yeah, we've got caution number 2 of the night. And Brody Hayes loving what he's seeing. He doesn't have to do anything at this point to hold off Bailey Turner. But really those two have just been able to get away, and then it's been a fight for third on back. As we see McGarvey working off of pit lane. I think we're going to have a couple more laps of caution, so we'll go to another quick commercial break, and we will be right back. Back at the racetrack, about to go green once again. Brody Hayes, another lightning restart. And he is going to secure the top spot. The battle now, Joshua Banks, really good restart from the outside row, trying to take second away. And a little bobble there from the 37 off the corner. And look at Joshua Banks closing in. He has a good shot to win this one here tonight, and making his charge towards the front, already up 3 positions. And we've got a battle side by side, AJ Stravato and Jeff Wright out of turn 2. It's right down on the inside. Stravato on the outside, going to sail it off into the corner. And we have plenty of side-by-side battles throughout the field here as well. Nick Starling, Justin Carey back here inside the top 15. Alan Dice, Jeremiah Vincent right there in front of them as well. Going to be doing battle. Jeremiah, big slide off the corner. Going to surrender the spot for the moment. You know, I think some of the incidents we've seen here so far, Logan, just charging down into the corner a little bit too hard has led to those single car spins. It can be really easy to lose the back end of the race car if you go in a little bit too deep.
Yeah, I noticed the braking on these cars was very touchy getting into the corner. Like you said, very easy to spin around just by yourself.
As the leaders, they're doing a really nice job hanging on, but caution is going to fly once again. Taking a look at where that one might have been. May have been the 26 of Charles Jackson. Let's take a look at the replay. It was lost the back end, and what we can say Charles Jackson started by Dennis Steele. Going to spin it across the start-finish line and catch the inside wall. So that is unfortunate for Charles, who has had a couple of run-ins already this evening and could be closing in on possibly, getting parked for this one. I don't think that one was entirely his fault. I think that was more of a racing incident with the 28 machine, but nobody coming to pit road this time, except for, that looks like the 7 machine of Caleb Weekly going to bring it in and continue to get damage repaired, still on the lead lap.
Adam, the 26 car has just been having a rough night. He said, I don't quite think that one was entirely his fault, but wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah. Brody Hayes still your race leader. 37 machine has led 37, now 38 laps crossing the line. So that is all the laps we've run so far. Qualified on the pole. He was fastest in practice as well. Looks like the car to beat for the moment. Let's see if we can pull Brody in here, actually, and maybe talk with them a little bit about how the race is going and how the car's feeling.
Sounds like a plan to me, Adam.
If we can pull him in here. Hey, Brody, this is Adam and Logan in the VSPEED booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, Brody, you've been out front this whole time. Not really any challenge for the race lead. We've seen guys have handling issues, and the track, obviously, a tough and challenging one. But how are you feeling out there with the clean air?
It's nice being out front and not back in that hornet's nest. I'm able to kind of control my own destiny off these restarts. So I got some hungry cats behind me, though. So right now I'm kind of just playing the protect game. I know if I give Josh an opportunity to pounce, he's going to take it. So it's kind of just hit my marks and save some tire and see if we can't drive away a little bit.
Yeah, and we said nobody's been to pit road, really up here in the front, and the only people that have pit have been involved in incidents so far. Do you think there's a reason or a time to come down pit road, or what would make sense to you to put fresh tires on this thing?
I would like to get another maybe a 15-25 lap green flag run before I come and put tires on it. I don't think it's worth it right now.
Yeah, 10-4 on that. Well, good luck out there. We'll see how you can do for the rest of this one.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Brody. That is your race leader, Brody Hayes, who's held on to that top spot this whole time and looking pretty good. He's got a little bit of damage, though, on the left front of that race car. Not sure where that came from exactly, but hopefully it doesn't affect him too much here as he runs up at the front of the field. He'll have control of the restart once again. Joshua Banks down on the inside. Green flag back in the air. And nice job by everybody. Gets through turn 1 and 2 there. And it is Brody Hayes, Joshua Banks still racing for the lead. The window or the door was open for a second, and it looks like Brody's going to shut the door in the face of the 35 machine. But now the battle's on for second.
Adam, Brody hit the nail on the head with that comment. Make your own destiny whenever you're in that front row. And he's done that time and time again here on these restarts.
Yeah, he's been perfect to this point. He's led every single lap. He's been perfect on the night as well in terms of his speed. And you've got control of the race if you're out in front, and you can control the line, you control the air on the car behind you as cars maybe hitting the wall further back. Not sure who it was, but I heard a big bit of contact. Maybe Charles Jackson again. Let's see if we can find out where the contact was. Oh, it was the 7. Caleb Williams. Night goes from bad to worse. Really machine, that may be the end. 7. As we will,
unfortunate.
Yeah, we'll head back to live as he's pulled it down pit road. We do see some cars coming onto pit road. I see Chris Samard, Seth Hatchell possibly bringing it in here. Yeah, he is on pit lane. So that's interesting to see a few of the front runners bring it in. Samard in, Hatchell in. Looks like maybe a 2-tire pit stop. No, it looks, yeah, maybe 4 tires for Seth and Chris. Alan Dice also brought it down. Alex Pelican. Mark Beverly brought it in the 83 machine. Nick Starling, his 18 Up There disc golf machine. One of the great sponsors of this league. You can learn more about them in the video description.
Adam, with some of these guys taking tires and a lot of them staying out there, how do you feel like this is going to mix up the field?
I think it may still be a little bit early. Like what Brody was saying, it could be about 15, 20 laps too early, possibly. And we'll just have to see. These guys are going to have to really take it easy on these tires and just hope they don't get involved in something being so far back in the field. I mean, Nick Starling, he'll line up 27th. And so not exactly where you want to be, it is still early in this race. A lot of time to make up positions. Looks like Jordan Brockle is going to come in the 84 machine. But I think maybe just a little bit too early for my liking, but we'll see how it works out for these guys.
I can't help but look at the lap times here and see that we're really only about 2/10 off of the practice and qualifying session. So to take tires this early is a very bold move, but we will see how it pays off for them in the long run.
Yeah, I think that's what they're banking on, is we do get a long run, and then these guys up at the front are gonna have to pit. There's an opportunity possibly to come in and take 2 or just stay out and see what kind of track position you can hang on to. But they may end up pitting at the same time as the rest of the leaders if we get a long enough run here. We'll see if Brody Hayes can get another restart like he has been. And Logan, I'll let you call this one.
Sounds good to me, Adam. Coming around through the exit of 4. We will see Brody stomp on the loud pedal and take another commanding lead off that restart, getting himself in there, turn 1, all alone once again.
Yeah, really nice job. The 37 machine taking the top spot away, and battle continues to rage on between Joshua Banks and Bailey Turner. Marcus Emerson right there And really, you could pick almost anyone out of the top 15 in this field, and they could be a winner in this race tonight. Still so early on. Look at this, nearly 3 wide as Marcus Emerson goes to the outside of Joshua Banks. AJ Servato thought about looking low. Ultimately, probably best that he didn't, as caution is going to come out again. We've got cars, I think Jeremiah Vincent. Oh boy, he's been involved in this one. Spun around here in 3 and 4. Let's take a look. Jeremiah. Oh, he made contact with barrels there. Oh, just, again, lost the back end. Take a look here. He goes for a ride and going to collect some damage. That is not going to be great for that race car.
Great job by the other drivers getting around that car, though.
Yeah, very nice job for them to avoid. And it looks like Jeremiah's towed it to pit lane. He may be calling it a night here. Maybe a little bit too much damage on that race car. But we'll see if he works his way back off pit road at any point. He will be in the lucky dog spot currently. Nicholas Lawrence, though, working down pit lane.
I was really expecting that one to come from further back in the pack. We saw a glimpse there of a couple cars getting into the wall out of turn 2. It was surprising to see the 3 car.
Yeah, Jeremiah, again, a longtime racer in this league and has had a lot of success. He's won in all kinds of cars here. And just a little bit too hard down in the corner. That shows how difficult it is here tonight for these guys. And if you just try and overstep that line a little bit too much, you know, there's no coming back from it. We've seen a lot of guys with these long, lazy slides that have cost them a chance to continue on in the race.
Now, that is one thing you cannot do here at Nashville. You cannot catch up with the brakes once you get into that turn. It will spin you around, just like we saw there.
You'll get that at some other racetracks too, where you're really hard on the brakes, and there might be a few bumps and things. Richmond is one that comes to mind, where a lot of guys will struggle with getting down in the corner. Martinsville as well, where you're really hard on the brakes and kind of a tight radius turn, and kind of varying track surfaces down in the corners as well. That is what we're seeing here tonight as we take a look at the race recap. Still no lead changes. That is our 7th caution of the race. Just over a third of the way through the event, and Brody Hayes has led every single lap, so trying to get most laps led here. He's only got to go about 20 more laps. And this time he's electing to start on the inside, so that's a little bit different. He started on the outside for a lot of these, and I'm not sure why the change at this point, but we'll see if Bailey Turner can take advantage and get a good restart on the outside. As green flag back in the air, and a nice restart from Bailey. We'll see if he can send it down in the corner and hang on that right rear quarter panel, and he's going to do just that out of turn number 2. Battle is on for the race lead.
Adam, I think that's the first time we've seen a contestant, a contest off that restart.
Yeah, and it's going to be a lead change. Bailey Turner to the top spot, and I think that's got to do with Brody taking that inside line on the restart. That's a very interesting decision, and he is going to look back on that one as he's going to make contact. Joshua Banks going to hang on to it, able to save the race car. Only going to lose a few positions, but ultimately keep the car on the racetrack pointed in the right direction. What a great job to hang on to it, as we've seen so many drivers make the same kind of mistake and not be able to do that. And now Bailey Turner, he's gotten away by about a half second over Brody Hayes. And Mark Emerson slotted into 3rd. Keith Mayato moves up to 4th because of that. And AJ Stravato into the top 5. And we've got a few laps under green at this point. Battling further back, Chris Samard, Michael Newman, Alan Dice, Gavin Baird also back here in the pack as well. And we'll see how some of these guys on the fresher tires, like Seth Hatchell, will see if they can make their way through the field. He's up to 12th position. Only 3 positions down from where he started.
Yeah, I think he came out in 14th or 15th after he took those tires. So it's good to see him moving back up through the field after a fresh set.
And you can see Justin Carey, he's racing with, has not brought it to pit lane yet in this race. And he's hanging tough for the moment, but Seth going to get a nice run out of turn 4. Looks like he'll steal that spot away and move up into the 11th position. Looking for other battles inside the top 10. Not too much to speak of at the moment. Angelo Ronis with a good run. Joshua Banks really struggling down into turn 3, though. Overcooked it a little bit that time. And he is trying to make up the ground that he lost with that mistake down into turn 3. But Bailey Turner doing a fantastic job trying to extend that lead. Still hanging on to about a half second. And Brody Hayes has to deal with the dirty air now in the 2nd position. And that is going to be a little bit different for him, you know. He's different conditions as cars piling in. That is Alex Pelican with a big piece of that one. I'm sure. Also, Justin Carey, you were just talking about him. Got into the 31. Or rather, the 31 brought it kind of across the racetrack. Cody Adkins gets a piece of it. 13th of Gavin Baird as well. Going to get a big piece of that. Another look at it here. Seems to be the case here tonight. If you make contact with something, you're making a lot of contact with something. It's not been light hits. As here we go, race leaders. Oh, Brody Hayes, Bailey Turner, they have brought it in. See who wins this battle off of the pit road. And Bailey gonna win that battle. Then Brody, Mark Simpson, Keith Mayato, AJ Stravato, and others making their way off. But Jeff Wright gonna stay on the track. And Seth Hatchell, we just talked about him. He already made a pit stop. And he's going to stay on the racetrack as well. Chris Samard was another one. Alan Dice also made a pit stop. I don't believe, or actually, no, it does look like Eric Hutton made a pit stop in this race as well. So he's on 30-lap old tires. Hatchell on 22-lap old tires. Noah Mikowski, Charles Jackson on 14-lap old tires. So this is going to be interesting. We've got a big mixture of strategies now amongst the top 10 and 15.
Yeah, we certainly do. We've got 30-lap old tires. I see a couple of 14 to 15-lap old tires, and then brand new ones coming off back onto the track right now. So this restart should be interesting.
Yeah, Bailey Turner's going to slot in the 10th position. He'll be the first one on fresh tires. Brody Hayes right there behind him. Mark Emerson, Mayato, Stravato, Banks, and so on, going to all have fresh tires on their race cars. And we'll see somebody else in control of the restart for the first time tonight. And that was about the longest run I think we'd had. Maybe about 10 laps. That stint.
I think we're somewhere right in there, 8 to 12. It's hard to keep track whenever they're going around this, half-mile oval here.
Yeah, I mean, laps going by at 19 seconds apiece. You've got 3 laps a minute. It really does fly. And we're approaching the halfway point in this race. And things have shifted dramatically from just 10 laps ago. With Jeff Wright, Seth Hatchell now going to be your front row. And then Alan Dice and Eric Hutton, row number 2. And we'll we'll see if these guys are up at the front at the end of this race. You know, things change so quickly at these short tracks. Seth Hatchell, Jeff Wright can lead us to the green flag. Good jump by the 48 from that outside line. He'll take the lead down into turn 1. Oh, AJ Stravato going around in the back, and he just put fresh tires on, and caution is going to come out. I don't think he hit anything, as we will go. Look at that. Contact from the 26, and we'll see just a little kiss on the back bumper off the inside wall, but everybody else able to avoid, and really nice job again by this field. It's also, I think, the second one we've seen off of a restart like that. So they're going to have to straighten some things out. I know the league will go to extreme measures like going to single file restarts if things don't clear up a little bit more. But AJ Stravato, he'll fall to the tail end of this group in 21st. We have just 24 cars out of our 38 starters on the lead lap. And I'm trying to see how many we actually have on the racetrack. It looks like somewhere around 30 or high 20s, so I think we've already missed our goal of having 30 finishers at the end of this one. But that is short track racing for you. It can get messy, and you can get some dents and bruises pretty quickly.
Adam, I know one thing. I would be very weary of a single file restart. With this many cars on this short of a track, they might almost be nose to tail.
Yeah, kind of like at Martinsville when you're at the tail end of the field and they do, you know, the old school single file restarts. Yeah, you'll be half a lap down at the drop of the green flag, and I think that will be the same situation here if they elect to do that. We'll wait to hear if they end up doing anything like that, though, from race control. I think they like to wait on that decision as long as possible. But I would feel pretty good being up here, being you know, one of these top 5, and we're at the halfway point now. You might be able to go the rest of the way without having to bring down pit road again. You know, I think track position's critical here tonight. What do you think?
Track position is going to be the most important thing. As we saw with Brody Hayes taking that inside line and then losing it on the restart there, it's going to come into be a huge factor for everybody in this race. So, you know, there's still a lot left, but it is a key component there.
Yeah, Hatchell with a slight tire advantage over Jeff Wright. It's about 8 laps, probably about 3 green flag laps if I had to guess. And Alan Dice on the same tires as Hatchell, Samard as well, Mark Beverly. Those guys all on the same strategy as the 8 machine. And green flag out once again. And Jeff Wright going to start on the inside and get a really nice restart. And Hatchell not able to contend for the race lead at the moment, but he'll be able to clear Alan Dice off of turn number 2 as they race down into turn 3. Top 2 single file, everybody else double file. The 26 up into the wall, further back in the field, 3 wide, but able to sort that out for the moment. Eric Hutton now working the top side, and that looked like it was almost 3 wide. Bailey Turner already making his way through. That is the 24 machine of Bailey Turner. Started second. He was in the race lead there when he came down pit road, and freshest tires by far amongst the top 5. And there goes the 03 of Mikowski around off turn 2. We're going to take a look. Looks like maybe a self-spin, maybe some contact with Nick Starling. No, lost the back end of the race.
Yep, just looks like he got on the throttle a little bit too soon.
And again, everybody able to avoid as he was kind of down on the lower part of the racetrack. That is good to see. Nobody else involved, but single car incident here. Noah Mikowski going to lose all that track position. I think it was just inside the top 10. And he'll fall all the way to 24th. Last car on the lead lap. So he'll bring it down pit road, maybe get some fresh tires put on and see what he's able to do from the back of the pack. But Bailey Turner, just talking about him, he's up to 4th now. Restarted 10th on the fresh tires, but has gained 6 spots since that point. Nobody else has really been able to come with him. Mark Emerson back in 9th. Brody Hayes has only made up 1 position into 10th. The dominant car of the first third of this race, really struggling here to make his way through, and obviously the back-to-back cautions like this not helping with progress. And what was helping him keep the lead earlier is preventing him from getting back up to it potentially.
And it could be a part of his plan. You know, he did just take those fresh tires. He might be waiting for him to break in a little bit before he starts really charging back for the front.
Could be the case. Could be waiting for these leaders to eventually pit again as well, and that'll cycle him up towards the front. Jeff Wright leading the way. Hatchell 2nd. Alan Dice 3rd. Bailey Turner 4th. Eric Hutton in the 5th position. As we will go to another quick commercial break. We'll be right back with the green flag. We are back at the racetrack now, about to go green flag racing once again. We've had 10 cautions so far in this one here from Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. 150 laps in this one. We're closing in on the 100 lap mark, and it has taken a little bit longer than expected, but hoping these guys can get things cleared up and we get some green flag racing as back underway. Jeff Wright, nice jump. Hatchell a little bit better this time. We'll see if he can hang on the quarter panel. Just about there, but not quite able to hang there, as we got a bunch of cars tagging the outside wall off turn 2.
It's like Bailey Turner having a look on the inside on that one.
Yeah, Bailey now fighting for 2nd. He's got fresher tires by about 20 laps over the number 8 machine, and even more than that over the 48. Mark Emerson, quick tag of the wall further back, and this is going to be a challenge for Bailey as it's kind of blocked in there, but the door is going to be open for him. Jeff Wright goes to the top side as we got cars piling in. Caution is going to fly. I think that's going to keep the 48 car in the lead. I saw Eric Hutton around further back. So go back to him. He's pointed the wrong direction on the racetrack. Contact with, that was Mark Emerson, and then he gets tagged by Angelo Ronas. Keith Mayato into the wall. The 16 of Gardner. The 02 of Loveland. 83 of Mark Beverly as well. That was a big pile up there.
Quite a few cars caught up in that, but not too much damage.
I thought I saw Mark Emerson maybe go for a slide after as well. Let's see. He was bouncing off the wall that was but got a bit of right front damage. He had already hit the wall on that restart a couple of times. How about this? Jeff Wright going to bring it down to pit road now. We go back live. Seth Hatchell has brought it in as well. And it's going to be a close battle off pit road. Looks like the 48 will win it. Hatchell, Starling, Mark Beverly's brought it in. Loveland, Eric Hutton. A lot of guys involved in that one. Or up at the front of the field are two of our top 3 brought it in. So now they have the tire advantage by about 20 laps. But they've got a long ways to go. Jeff Wright going to plot back in 17th. Bailey Turner.
It did work for him last time, though.
It did. He was able to work his way up through the field a little bit, and with the strategy, took the lead for 21 laps. Bailey Turner back out front. He's now at 12. Alan Dice still in the 2nd position. So he stays out on the older tires. Chris Samard going to do the same. He started in 6th up to 3rd. Angelo Ronis running in 4th right now after starting in 8th. Brody Hayes, who led the first 56 laps of this race, now back into the top 5. So he's starting to make his way forward, and I think he'll be up there contending for this thing before it's all said and done. Keith Mayato got a little damage on that. You see the back bumper cover ripped off on the 36. 35 of Joshua Banks, who was up challenging for the lead before making a mistake down into turn 3, has gotten back into 7th position. And then Nick Gardner. And how about AJ Stravato, who was, felt like not that long ago, back in 27th position. He's up to 9th now. And Justin Carey, who's also had his share of issues. I think everybody's pretty much been involved in something.
It's hard not to be here in Nashville.
So 11 cautions so far in this one. 3 lead changes as Bailey Turner takes over the top spot once again. And we've got just under 60 laps remaining. It'll be Bailey Turner and Alan Dice, the front row. Row number 2, Chris Samard, Angelo Ronis. We'll see how long we can get these guys rolling this time, but green flag is out. And fantastic jump, maybe even a little too good for Bailey Turner. He flies off and away. Chris Samard going to try and take 2nd away. We are 3 wide further back, and that is not going to work. We saw some contact. Angelo Ronis got into it with Joshua Banks and Alan Dice. Here comes Brody Hayes challenging back through the field.
Brody's put himself in a good position here. 20 lap newer tires than Chris and Alan both.
Caution is out once again. We're going to see if we can find out what happened here. Oh, that's his car flashing the outside wall and flipping and spinning. That was Brandon Vasquez. I think he had connection issues by the time that he came back. He was flipping around and spinning down into the inside wall. And not going to get a good look at it here as he's having some internet problems. But that is the cause of our 12th caution of the night. Looked like everybody else had gotten away pretty cleanly on that restart. We were a little bit more spread out than they had been. But look at the yellow flag once again.
Not caught anybody else up in that with those connection issues.
Yeah, that is it's kind of like a mechanical failure. You know, it's the equivalent of that here in iRacing, and those can sometimes collect a lot of drivers, and luckily that time I don't think anybody got any damage that we could see. But we are still working under Yellow flag once again, and that looks like it's going to be Max Koss going to get the lucky dog. Nice job there for Max. He's running in 22nd. Winner of the season opening Clash. And a good solid run, I believe, last week at Daytona. But yeah, currently running 22nd, up from 34th. Big mover in this one. I think second or third biggest mover of the night. And Max, one of those drivers, constantly gets better and better in his time here below the double yellow. And as is the case with so many drivers over the years that have just continued to improve and learn from some of the best here on the sim.
Yeah, it is pretty cool to see these guys coming together. You know, they do this week after week. They know each other. They get along with each other. Most importantly, they can drive together.
Yeah, and there's been some incredible moments, some of the most exciting iRacing moments I've seen, you know, in the last 4 or 5 years, basically since this league started. They have put on some of the best racing consistently. And you'll get races like this, right? It's short track racing. It's a little bit tricky with the bumpy surface here and a lot of cars on the racetrack. I don't know if there's any league, even the pros probably would not be able to go green for all that long. But yeah, we'll get these every so often, and just got to try and work your way through it and get the best finish you possibly can, get the most points you can, and in the case of Bailey Turner, maybe get out of here with a race win.
Yeah, I love tracks like these, Adam, where there's, you know, I don't like to be under caution all the time, but it's nice to get that practice for those big tracks, Talladega, Daytona, where you're flying through there and need that split-second reaction to get out of the way of a wreck. It's a lot of good practice here.
Definitely a lot of good wreck avoidance practice here tonight as Bailey Turner, Chris Samard, your front row. Green flag back in the air. And again, fantastic start by the 24 as he'll lead the field into turn number 1 and battling side by side all throughout. And that is the lap 100 in the books. The number 9 going around. And that is going to bring out another yellow flag. That was Nicholas Lawrence involved in that one. Let's take a look at the replay. I think maybe a little help from 22. Definitely a little contact right there. He goes for a spin. And let's see, did anybody make contact? Nice job again. Everybody avoids. And Nicholas Lawrence, last car on the lead lap now in 23rd. Looks like Dallas Sullivan will probably get the lucky dog. And put him back to 1 lap down. And his car, a bit of nose damage on the 46. But could still be competitive. I mean, there's cars on the lead lap without a front end, so it's not really something you need at the short tracks to at least get a solid finish out of it.
Yeah, you just got to know where your braking points are, where to accelerate, make sure you don't spin yourself out. You know, body damage, of course, in the long run, doesn't always work out, but on these half-mile tracks, it should be all right.
Yeah, it makes me think about back in the day, the old Bristol and Martinsville races where, you know, before they had the damaged vehicle policy, you could go see cars that were, there was no front end, no back end, and really just the numbers on the sides, and they were making laps out there, maybe not up to speed, but we have seen times where I think Martin Truex in recent years, he had the a fender issue. They cut the fender off. It actually made him faster. And Dale Jr. also had that happen in Martinsville back in, I think it was 2003 or 4, one of those 2 years where the fender came off, or they had to rip the fender off, and he actually had the full tire exposed and was running quicker laps than anybody else. But you just won't see, you know, that in modern NASCAR with the cars with the damaged vehicle policy. They just won't put them back out there without the fenders and the hood and the bumpers. But You get that here on iRacing, so we do get a little bit of that classic feel.
I like to call that weight reduction.
It's rapid weight reduction is what it is. But I know that, you know, recently there's been a lot of interest, kind of renewed interest in NASCAR. I've seen a lot of people, you know, on social media, especially with the Netflix show, a lot of people checking out NASCAR that were maybe interested in F1 recently. And they're so surprised when cars are out there with damage. They're getting involved in wrecks and they're still racing, because you go to those other series and you can't do that, right? You know, those cars they're like fine wine glasses versus you know, a big heavy mug sort of thing. And it's just they're so delicate, and these cars, they can take a bit of a beating. So
It is funny you say that, Adam. I'm a big F1 fan, but I have to agree. They get one scratch and they're ready to put it in the pits.
yeah, I mean, slight contact on a restart, right? And you're 3 seconds off the pace in those things. So you could still run out there. And we've seen, you know, drivers like Fernando Alonso, I think it was about 10 years ago, where he was out there and he had multiple flat tires, was able to keep rolling it back to the pits and finish his race off. But not usually the case. As green flag back in the air at the Nashville Fairgrounds, Bailey Turner out in front. And here comes Brody Hayes challenging for second.
Well, Adam, we knew it was only a matter of time to see Brody back up here challenging.
Yeah, doing exactly what he's needed to do to get the track position back. Looking pretty good at this point to go down there and try and track down his closest competitor. But look at Joshua Banks as well. He's made it through the field somehow, some way. That 35 car, he's competitive here tonight. And he could have a shot at the win. He was, if you recall, he was closing in on Brody Hayes before we had a few of those early cautions. And looks like he might be doing the same thing at this point in the race. Just 40 laps to go or so the next time across the stripe. Keith Mayato, AJ Stravato a little further back, fighting for 6th and 7th. And right behind Angelo Ronis. And all three of these cars with varying levels of damage. But still racing out here, having a competitive race. And the battle is on for second place. Bailey Turner out in front. Brody Hayes second. Joshua Banks in third, is putting that pressure on the 37.
Adam, this is going to be very fun. I only see
a little bit of contact there. Nearly turned the 37 around. Sorry to interrupt you. That was a really close moment.
I only see 2 laps of separation on the tires between our top 3 guys. So how do you think it's going to play out? Do you think they come in maybe a little bit earlier, try to get the fresher tires and run through it? Or see who can stay out the longest?
I don't know, but we've got a caution on the racetrack. And I'm not sure who it was. Maybe Dennis Steele involved in this one. Let's go back and take a look at the replay here. Another car spinning on the backstretch. Lost the back end off of turn number 2.
It has been a tough day for that 26 machine, that's for sure.
Yeah, this is about 4 or 5 cautions I think he's had some involvement in, whether or not they were all his fault. Got to give it to him, though. Still racing out here, still rolling, and not going to bring it on the pit road this time. We see Chris Samard pull it down pit lane, Keith Mayato, AJ Stravato, Mark Emerson. Well, actually, yeah, Mark Emerson was in about 6 laps ago. But everybody else behind him just brought it down. That includes Seth Hatchell, Noah Mikowski, Alan Dice, Justin Carey, Michael Newman, all just brought it down pit road. So 35 laps to go. They're making a judgment call here. The top 8 have stayed on the racetrack with at least 25 lap old tires, and these guys in the top 3 with 48 lap old tires. How about Jeff Wright? We talked about him. He took that gamble. He was all the way back in 17th, and now he's up to 4th position with 22 lap fresher tires.
Yeah, this will be interesting to see how this plays out. We've got 20 lap of separation on the tires between right here and the 3 guys ahead of him. So this restart's going to be huge for him.
And then behind max cost, everybody's on fresh rubber. So you've got 3 distinct groups, 3 distinct strategies that are all going to have different paces. And we've seen how that's worked out so far in this one. The guys on the fresher tires seem to be making their way to the front. But Bailey Turner and Brody Hayes have really been the class of the field in terms of speed. Joshua Banks as well, and Jeff Wright also very close in speed. So I would think it could still be one of our top 4. Maybe even Eric Hutton, who's a good short track driver. But it could be any of those guys on the fresh tires. Pace truck lights are off. We'll be going green this time with 33 laps to go. After 14 cautions here tonight at Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. Hope you're still enjoying it out there. Thank you so much for tuning in to VSPEED. This is our 500th video, and glad that you can all be a part of it, and hoping we can get a great run to the finish here out of this one. This pace truck is in. Bailey Turner, Brody Hayes. Green flag back in the air, and a good jump from Brody that time. He's going to pull the same thing that Bailey did to him and hang on that right rear quarter panel off of turn number 2. And is this going to be the opportunity to redeem himself from the previous restart where he lost the lead? Can he get it back? Trying to pinch down the 24, who's going to drift up just a little bit nose to nose out of turn number 2. All 3 of these leaders bobbling on old tires. And caution is going to fly. I don't know who the leader was. I think they both think they were the leader, but maybe Bailey Turner. As drivers further back involved in this one. Let's take a look at the replay and see what brought it out here. And that was possibly Dennis Steele. Oh, I am not sure of that. Let's take a look again. That's the 21 of Justin Carey going around out of turn 2. Ooh, it nearly got clipped by Charles Jackson, and that would have been another one for the 26. But yeah, just a little too tight on the exit of turn 2 for Justin Carey. He gets loose and slams that inside wall, and man, close call from the 26.
Yeah, Justin on those new tires, it seems he just got a little too happy on the throttle coming out of turn 2 there. Could have been worse.
Yeah, got a bit of damage to that left front, but he'll be able to continue, it looks like. And Bailey Turner just hanging on to that race lead. We'll see if he elects to go to the outside lane. The inside has just not worked for these guys late in the run. And I think
we're seeing guys get into tires here about 55 to 60 laps old. We haven't quite seen that yet this race. A lot of them changing tires about 45 laps or so.
Yeah, it's really just that initial run where, the top 15 or 20 drivers didn't pit, and they were out there for about 60 laps, but a lot of caution laps. We've had a couple longer runs within this last 60 laps. So I think there may be a little bit more wear, but the lap times look pretty good from these top 2 as they were battling. Even Jeff Wright on the fresher tires, Eric Hutton, Nick Starling, they weren't able to make their way up there to battle. Chris Samar did gain a few positions, though. He's up to 7th, and he's the first car on the fresh 9-lap old tires. Keith Mayato right there, his teammate, behind him, and they put the back bumper cover on the 36 once again, so that might help him out just a little bit. But what a wild one here tonight from Nashville Fairgrounds. We've got just over 25 laps to go. 15 cautions in this one. If I had to pick here, I think it's going to be one of our top 3 that goes on to win this race. But what are you thinking, Logan? Do you have a pick if you had to make one?
It's hard saying. All these guys up here in the top 5 have been having a fantastic race, so they all have an equal chance. We talked earlier about, I believe it was the 35 of Josh Banks being dominant on short tracks. He's shown that. Hayes and Turner both turning fantastic laps here, so it's hard saying right now.
Yeah, I think the picture will become a bit more clear in about 15 laps. Green flag back in the air, and Bailey Turner, really great jump. Not a good jump for Brody Hayes, who opens the door entirely, and there goes Joshua Banks trying to take second away. Kind of been a position that's eluded him for a lot of this race, and now he's got a shot to go up there and race for the win, potentially, if he can clear the 37. And he's going to be able to do that. Chris Samard also further back, trying to work his way forward, going to the inside of Nick Starling. That is about 25 lap difference on tires. As the 18 catches the wall just a little bit. Samard down low. He's bringing Stravato and Mayato with him. Keep an eye as a little contact off the corner. They slam doors, and then Samard shuts the door, and around goes Mark Beverly and company in turns 1 and 2. That is the driver, the number 83. You can see it all started. They stacked up a little bit, and then he gets tagged from behind by Max Cost. And then Max piles in there. The 03 of Mikulski gets into it. Michael Newman, Alan Dice. Other drivers able to avoid it. That is good.
Big contact there.
Oh. Yeah, big hit to the left front suspension of the 83 as well. That could be potentially race ending if it breaks the suspension. Let's take a look at the 03 of Mikulski. I'm trying to find him in the running order, as he got tagged by Alan Dice and then Michael Newman. But oh yeah, and then Newman goes around. Jordan Brockle gets collected in it as well. So it's kind of a multi-level accident. Bringing out our 16th yellow flag of the night. And Bailey Turner is loving this. I mean, I saw Joshua Banks closing in just that short stint. He made the pass on the 37, and he had his sights set on the race leader. And these two have gotten into it a few times over the years. Would not be surprised to see an aggressive battle between these two.
I would expect nothing less here at Nashville.
And we're going to be coming around to 20 laps to go. We're going to cut away to a quick commercial break. We'll be right back.
Sailor Tarot Magic is the spot to get a reading from Sally, an intuitive healer and tarot reader. Known as the Nurturing Reader at New Jersey Street Fairs, you can also check out our YouTube channel for lunar and astro readings, as well as our Instagram for live weekly readings. Her rates are affordable, and you will leave with a newfound perspective. Sally is now offering an introductory class on tarot cards and intuition, and is available for parties. Call or text 732-314-0777 to schedule your reading today.
We're back at the racetrack. Green flag in the air. It's Bailey Turner out in front. Joshua Banks doing everything he can to hang with him. And this is going to be a battle to the finish. Look at Jeff Wright working around the outside to take third away from Brody Hayes. He's got that tire advantage over the top two. And Joshua Banks seals off the second lane. Jeff Wright goes to the third lane and not able to make that one work. He's going to lose some ground. But the top two, nose to tail. Jeff Wright still trying to clear the 37 for third place. Get onto that podium. And he is going to do that. But Brody Hayes trying to fight back. Chris Samard on those fresher tires than everybody up there. Has not been able to get past fifth position just yet. But still, 15 laps to go. We'll see if he can make a charge. As we take a look, Bailey Turner still hanging on to the race lead. Look at the 35 of Joshua Banks all over his bumper.
Yeah, absolutely none of these guys giving an inch this late in this race.
On board here is Joshua Banks navigating those bumps, and he is there. It is the short track. You'd expect these guys to use the bumper, especially late in the going. And Joshua Banks hungry for a win. And he's been competitive here in this league. He's got his race wins here and also Saturday Night Racing League. You can see that 35 machine. And he's got wins over there, and he's really good on these short tracks. But Bailey Turner running a fantastic race in this one. He's led 60 laps out of 138. And definitely deserving if he can hang on to this one. This is about all the fight that you can expect to receive from another driver in a race. Look at the 35 right there on the ragged edge.
He's like a shark in the water, just waiting for the one wrong move to be made.
And that is easy to do here. I mean, one misstep, one hit of those bumps that shoots your car up the racetrack, that could be the difference between winning and losing. Or winning and wrecking as well. As look at AJ Stravato, big slide back in the fifth position. He's taking that away from Chris Samard. It was about 50 laps ago. He was facing the wrong way in 27th. And now he's up here in fifth. Could be fighting for a race win, but is going to need a little bit of help to get through these next couple of race cars. Bailey Turner still out in front. Top two have broken away by a couple of car lengths, and then it's Hayes and Wright battling for third. That one has not quit, even though you'd think with the tire advantage, Jeff Wright would be able to just drive away. But I see lap traffic off in the distance as well.
I wonder if we'll stay green long enough to see if that lap traffic comes into effect here.
That's a slow car up the road. Not sure which car that is. He's going to get out of the way. That is the 83. Nice move there by Mark Beverly. We'll see if either of these drivers tries to change anything up. Big slide there from the 24. Joshua Banks looking for every which way to try and find a way around. And he is right there on the back bumper. I think he's got the better handling race car, but caution is out as he goes to look to the inside. Oh my goodness, that is Keith Mayato around. As he was up there battling inside the top 10. Wow, just stepped out on him. Not sure if anybody got collected in this one. Looks like everyone able to avoid, although Dallas Sullivan got just a little tap from the 13. And they were all able to avoid, so that is a good sign for Keith Mayato that he can continue on in this thing. But that is a big hit late in the going.
That is another great display of driving skill to avoid a sideways car in the middle of the turn like that.
Yeah, that's about the 5th or 6th time tonight I think we've had single car incidents where no one else was collected. And such a narrow racetrack, very impressive from these drivers. There goes Max Cost. He'll get his lap back and now up onto the lead lap once again. I think we might end up in an overtime situation here. We're at 5 to go. It may be more of a natural green-white checkered if we end up with 2 to go. And it is going to be incredibly important that Joshua Banks gets a perfect restart alongside Bailey Turner, who's been perfect himself, other than the one restart with Brody Hayes. So yeah, this is crunch time, and you can't make any mistakes on this restart.
Yeah, entirely throughout the field. You know, the last thing you want to see here is another caution if you are the 24 of Bailey Turner. You know, you've got yourself in a great position. As long as you can control that restart, he should be looking all right. But he's got to wait to see what the rest of the cars behind him do.
Yeah, we'll see which lane he picks. The inside really has not been very good, especially late in the run. And these guys have 80 lap old tires. They haven't been on pit road since, lap 66. I mean, it's been a long time for these guys. Then Jeff Wright, he's got 58 lap old tires. Brody Hayes, he has 80 lap old. And then further on back, it's 33 for most of the drivers behind them. So that's nearly a 50 lap difference in tires from AJ Stravato to Bailey Turner. But the problem is AJ is going to be restarting in the third row. And kind of hard to get through 4 other race cars with 2 laps to go, as we have the lights off on the truck. So we're going to have a natural green-white checkered, and we'll see if we make it back to the white flag to close things out from Nashville. Hopefully we can get a good, clean run to the finish, but, you know, intuition says it's probably not going to happen. Here is the 24 of Bailey Turner, the 35 of Joshua Banks, green flag. Off and away once again. Good restart by Brody Hayes, who's going to look to take second away. And he's going to have to charge down into the corner here to clear. As we are wrecking further back. Not sure if we got the yellow flag just yet. Green on the ticker. Looks like it's going to stay green. White flag is out from Nashville. Brody Hayes up to second. Can he challenge? Will he get to the bumper of the 24 of Bailey Turner, who's been losing ground here a little bit on these longer runs? Down into turn 3. Sends it down in. Not close enough. It's going to be Bailey Turner out of turn 4. He'll win at Nashville. And what a great job to hold on with all of those restarts here in this one. Definitely not the prettiest race we've ever seen, but it was almost perfect from Bailey Turner.
Yeah, Bailey did a fantastic job controlling those restarts, made sure he got himself out ahead of everybody else. Good job driving by him.
It ends up being Brody Hayes second, Joshua Banks in third, as Bailey going to burn it down here. I believe he's a Nashville native, so we'll have to talk to him about that here in the post-race interviews. But congrats to Bailey on his victory. Race 2, the Below the WL Racing League Season 3 at Nashville Fairgrounds. We'll be right back to interview your top 3. Back at the racetrack now with our third place finisher. We'll be pulling him in just a second. That is Joshua Banks. And see if we can get him into the booth with us here. Joshua Banks, this is Adam and Logan in the VSPEED booth. You got a copy?
I got you, buddy.
Well, Josh, you were up there at the front of the field for a lot of tonight. You had to charge through it a couple times, and you had a close call there early on that set you back. But, man, what a battle there in the closing laps between you, Bailey, Brody, Jeff. Just describe your night here in Nashville.
I just restart games, man. That's all it was because we couldn't get a good green flag run. It's kind of sucks, but it was unfortunate. I'm glad we came back to finish top three. It's cool to be able to finish these races like that. But when you're fighting to hold a position, but Bailey and I had some good runs there. At the end, they're trying to take the lead from them, but it just wasn't enough time. We just couldn't get a good green flag run long enough to get the tires worn in and start seeing passes and racing people moving through the field or dropping back. You couldn't see that. So like I said, restart games, it's tough. This track's tough though overall with this car. So but it was fun. I thought it was fun when we went green. Just couldn't do it.
Yeah, it definitely was broken up a bit here tonight with all the cautions, but you did have a run there just before kind of the last restart. It was a pretty good run, and you were all over the back bumper. Were you thinking about giving him the bumper, or what was the thought there? I know you got alongside just as the caution came out.
Yeah, I was debating it, but Bailey and I are trying to do our best to race with more respect for each other. So I didn't want to do anything to mess up his night. So racing clean, obviously, and we did get that run I was looking for. And right when it happened, it just, the caution came out. So I wish we would have ran that one green to the end, because that would have been a cool little race for y'all to watch and for us to do. It would have been fun because I think I was making that bottom work. That top definitely works good. It just, as the tires wear in, I think the bottom would come in. So, I mean, it's unknowns because of how short the runs were, but it was tough. I mean, it was definitely tough to get around Bailey. It wasn't no easy feat to even get close to him. So it was cool to get there to that position, just unfortunate timing, and unfortunately couldn't do it.
Yeah, but you put on a great race here and great effort to come home on the podium here tonight. Is there anybody you want to give a shout out to?
I mean, just you guys in the booth for enduring that race. I mean, daggum. I don't know how many cautions were tonight, but we've had plenty to have some good coffee conversation. So hope you enjoyed that. Glad for the admins putting on a good league. I mean, we got to weed out the quirks right now, get everybody used to each other and get used to racing alongside with these new faces and such. But I think once that happens, we'll start getting some good long runs. So thanks for the admins for doing what they do at this league. This is my 4th year with these guys, so they just always do an awesome job. And shout out to sponsors. You got Matco Tools on the car, 45th anniversary car this season. So celebrating 45 years of Matco. And then I got AB Motorsports on there as well. Not celebrating, but shout out to them on the team, Antron Brown, and of course, everybody in the league racing. So thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you, Joshua. We'll catch you next week at Darlington.
All right, man. We'll see you then.
See ya. That is your third place finisher, Joshua Banks. We'll go to second place finisher now, and that's going to be Brody Hayes. And Logan, I believe you're with him.
Yep, I've got Brody here. Brody, Logan and Adam up here in the VSPEED booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, great race today. You had some amazing moves out there within that field, specifically that last one to get around Josh. How are you feeling in that moment, man? Was that pre-planned, or did it just kind of happen for you?
With Bailey, taking the top there, I knew I was gonna have a better jump than Josh did on the bottom. So as long as I could get to his outside, I was pretty confident I was gonna be able to clear him. I was just hoping I could sail it off in there far enough that I'd get to Bailey's outside too and spook him, and we'd be able to race for it. But all in all, as rough as the race was, I'll take a P2 and a clean car out of it. So nothing to complain about.
Absolutely, man. That was a great look there at the end of the race. The top 3 here, you guys had the longest run on the tires, looking at 83 laps between the 3 of you. How are they feeling that late in the race? That was, like I said, the longest stint that we saw on tire.
I still had a good bit of tire life left. I felt like I was better on the long run than I was on the short run. So, if we had a 20 lap run to the end there, I thought I was going to be set up pretty good to have a little bit better drive off than maybe some of those guys in front of me. I think the heat cycles on all the tires kind of evened everybody out for the most part. I mean, fresh tires, they might have helped a little bit, but with as many cautions, as many heat cycles, it was hard to get a good feel on what your car was going to do. So.
Well, you handled it great, Brody, coming out with a P2 today. While you're here, is there anybody you'd like to shout out?
Yeah, I'll give a shout out to, my VSPEED guys. It's fun racing with all of them on every Tuesday night. And shout out to you guys in the booth for doing what y'all do and putting on, these great broadcasts that I enjoy going back and watching. So appreciate that, and all the other sponsors that we got throughout the year. So it's going to be a fun season.
Glad to hear it, Brody. Again, great job tonight, finishing P2 in a hard-fought battle through this entire 150 laps.
Yes, sir. Awesome. Thank you, guys. I'll see y'all next week.
Thank you, Brody.
We'll see you.
That is second place finisher Brody Hayes. Let's go to our race winner now. That's going to be Bailey Turner, who had nearly a flawless race in this one. Let's pull him into the booth now. Hey, Bailey, this is Adam and Logan in the VSPEED booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you guys.
Well, Bailey, it was a tough race tonight. A lot of cautions, a lot of kind of broken up racing. You worked your way through the field to get back up to the race lead, and you hold on there with some hard chargers, Brody Hayes and Joshua Banks closing in behind you. Just describe tonight's race and how you made it back up here for the win.
Does it have to be PG-13 or a shit show was what I think they say. No, it was unfortunate. This is it's such a fun short track. It really benefits guys that are patient, on throttle and good braking and things like that, and just good racecraft. And I felt like the entire time everybody in the top 10 was pretty good about that. Like even when guys were coming on fresher tires, everybody in the top 10 did a real good job just giving each other space and racing each other with some respect. So that was appreciated. But yeah, when all those cautions are coming out, you really don't know what the right strategy is, and you're kind of just at the mercy of when all those yellows come out, and you're kind of playing a guessing game. But luckily, all those cautions did come out at the end. I think those tires that Jeff and those guys had were going to start coming in there the farther we got into that run. So saved by the yellow, and then picking the right lane on a restart there, and gave myself a shot at the end.
Yeah, we saw a couple of times throughout the night where the restarts were crucial, right? There was one where Brody picked the inside, you picked the outside, or you took the outside because of that, and you were able to pass him for the first lead change of the race. And then later on, it kind of was reverse roles. You picked the inside, and he was restarting on your outside, and he nearly got past you again. Was there something to picking the lanes tonight, or was that just a tire wear at that point in the race?
Generally you wanted the top so you could protect and kind of pinch a guy off on exit, and I just had some luck there on the inside, and then the one restart that I let Brody get to the outside there, I actually missed a shift going from third to fourth, and allowed him just to hang on to that right rear, and I was battling for my life there for about 5 laps until that caution came out. So saved by the timing line. Jeff actually got saved by the timing line because when we were battling, I was right to his inside and a caution came out. But yeah, it was. You really generally wanted the top. I felt like the top was the place to be in a restart, and then I always prefer just wrapping the yellow line here in 3 and 4 and trying to be disciplined throughout the race. But it's pretty tough when you got a hard charging Josh Banks behind you.
Yeah, it was really a close battle between you guys, and I know you've had your run-ins, but it looked like respectful racing all throughout the night. I know you had some close quarters, with a lot of guys here tonight, but definitely, fun racing amongst the top 5 there for good portions of this race. And you're a race winner now. We go to Darlington next week. You think you can go back-to-back, kind of another rough surface racetrack?
I wouldn't say I'm the most confident guy at Darlington, especially in these Xfinity cars. I feel like you're going to look at a guy like Jeff Wright and, AJ Stravada. Those guys are always so good on the long run there. And, hopefully just staying consistent. I felt like, I've been putting myself, when I am able to show up every Tuesday, put myself in that championship battle and, at least give myself a shot within that top 2 or 3. So just hoping to keep some luck. Unfortunately, last week I felt like I was going to be up there in the top 5 at the finish and got taken out. And this week, got to avoid the carnage and be up there at the front where I felt like I should have been. So hopefully I'll carry that over. And, I love that we got more short tracks on the schedule this season. I hope guys kind of take a step back and can just be a little more patient. That's really the goal when you go to a short track, is just kind of biding your time and managing those tires, and a little give and take here and there goes a long way.
Yeah, I know I've seen a lot of races kind of go this way here. You do occasionally get those ones that go nice and green at this track, and like you said, definitely a fun track to race around. And I'm sure it'll get that much better as we go throughout the season. So you did a fantastic job here tonight. Lead 73 laps after starting out there in second. You take the win, your first one of the season. Is there anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, all the guys over there, Sad Boys. It's been fun. We kept the chat entertaining tonight with all the time we had under caution. So, good job to those guys. I hope they had some good results there. And Dennis Faircloth, loving the paint schemes that he's putting out for me. And you guys over there at VSPEED and everybody that sponsors BTDY and the admins for putting this on. This has been a fun experience every Tuesday night, and looking forward to next week.
Awesome, Bailey. Well, thanks for the time here after tonight's race. Congrats on the win, and we'll catch you next week.
Yes.
That is Bailey Turner, your race winner here tonight at Nashville Fairgrounds. Leads nearly half the race, takes the win, and it was an up and down race, I will say. A lot of cautions in this one. Let's take a look at the results for the rest of the field here tonight before we head on out for the evening. We did have 17 cautions, just 3 lead changes, and Bailey Turner was 2 of those, taking the top spot and holding on to it for the last portion of this race. Brody Hayes, he'll come home to finish in second. Joshua Banks, strong run, he'll finish third. Jeff Wright comes home in the 4th position. Chris Samard, he'll finish in the 5th spot. AJ Stravato going to finish in 6th here tonight. Seth Hatchell 7th. Eric Hutton 8th. Mark Emerson in 9th. And Nick Starling with a strong finish in the 10th position.
Follow up the top 10 here. We've got Angelo Ronas in the 11th spot. Guys following behind him: Gardner, McClaskey, Carey, Sullivan, Newman, Steele, Brockle, and Jackson.
21st was Keith Mayato. 22nd, Max Koss. 23rd was Nicholas Lawrence. 24th, Kyle McGarvey. 25th, Mark Beverly. 26th, Cody Adkins. 27th was Gavin Baird. 28th, Lane Sulfridge. 29th, Brandon Vasquez. Rounding out the top 30 is Jeremiah Vincent. In 31st, it was James Loveland. 32nd, Nathaniel Ostrowski. 33rd, Wesley Dunphy. 34th, Alex Pelican. 35th, Caleb Weekly. 36th, Robert Gilmore. Dennis Faircloth comes home in 37th, and Timmy Emanuele going to round out the field in 38th position. Well, Logan, quite an up and down race. A lot of carnage here tonight in Nashville. How do you feel about tonight's race, and are you looking forward to moving on to Darlington next week?
Well, Adam, we went into it knowing that this is a tough track. We were going to see a lot of cautions. It's inevitable here at Nashville. All in all, though, with as many cars as we had on the lead lap and as many cars in the race finishing, I count that as a win for most of these guys here. 17 cautions throughout 150 laps. It definitely takes a toll on you, and just seeing a lot of these guys finish is phenomenal.
Yeah, we had 23 cars on the lead lap, which is pretty good, considering how many cautions we had and how many people were involved. Still 23 guys running on the lead lap here is definitely a testament to the talent that is in this league. And hopefully, a little bigger racing surface, maybe a little bit more familiar racetrack to some of these guys next week at Darlington. We'll get a few less cautions, but either way, it's always fun to bring the action here with the Below the Double Yellow Racing Series. Tonight's race, again, Nashville Fairgrounds, the second race of this season. Tune in to next week from Darlington to catch the action for race number 3, and you'll see a lot of other great races throughout the week on our channel as well. So make sure to like, share, subscribe to stay up to date with what we're doing throughout the week. We do appreciate you tuning in here to VSPEED, and for myself and Logan, have a great night.